studio is freezing this morning. Thank you for joining us this morning. And first up in our final segment, we focus on a disease that, quite frankly, is quite a mystery to many people. It's called endometriosis. And the Trinidad and Tobago Endometriosis Association is a non-profit organization founded in 2012 with the aim of raising awareness publicly about this little-known disease. Our guest is the president of the association, Ms. Abisha Tousse, who's been living with the disease for a number of years. Thank you very much for joining us, Abisha.
Thank you.
March is designated Endometriosis Awareness Month internationally and supported by legislation in many countries. Now, I know about endometriosis because one of my best friends, Nikki Crosby,
yes,
everybody
yes,
knows,
yes.
has suffered from endometriosis since, I think, her teenage years.
Yeah.
And I mean, she used to be in, well, still is in some debilitating pain.
Yep.
Is that also part of your experience personally?
Oh, yes. From the very first instance I had my cycle, it came a Christmas Day, pain. From since then until
And this
now.
is not discomfort, this is
severe
pain.
No, I'm telling you about severe, incapacitating, debilitating pain that will have you in a fetal position on a bed for at least 3 days. The only 2 places you would move for those 3 days would be your washroom and your bedroom. Sometimes nothing can stay on your stomach. The pain is so much to walk upright. Takes great effort. If you understand where I'm coming from, it's a lot of pain.
I know Nikki went through many years without knowing what was wrong with her.
Yeah.
How and when were you diagnosed?
I went through 18 years without being diagnosed. It so happened when I was.
So what were doctors telling you?
What were they telling me? They told me everything else apart from endometriosis. There was this one doctor. Let me go back a bit before I come forward. I was finishing my undergrad at UWI, and I started to get a pain. And the pain was concentrated on the left side. I went to my doctor, it got worse, of course. Went to the doctor, and she didn't like what she saw. So, of course, we went to the public system, went around, you know how it goes. And then I landed by a doctor called Dr. Martin Trotman. And when I went to him, he told me, he said there's one out of 2 things, either endometriosis or a pelvic abscess. I did the surgery. When I did the surgery, it was confirmed. This is 18 years after that it was severe endometriosis.
And just for clarity, endometriosis is an abnormal growth of...
What endometriosis really is that you have the endometrial cells, or it is also referred to as the uterine tissue that lines the uterus. What happens is that it grows in other parts of the body. So you have it like on the fallopian tubes.
So it grows out of the uterus and into other areas, which is where the pain comes in. And it is exacerbated because it's the tissue from your uterus. So every time your monthly cycle comes, it would behave as it would behave in the uterus. It is meant, it is meant to shed every month. The nature of the cell is to replenish itself every month. So wherever it grows, it will behave the same way. The behavior is the same. It will replenish itself and shed. So what this will result in is internal bleeding. And then that will develop a host of complications. You talk about scarring, inflammation, you name it. Is there a cure for it, or is it something that you can manage?
There's no cure. I mean, you have research being conducted worldwide, but presently there's no cure. What you have, treatment do. And it works differently for different patients. What might work for me will not necessarily work for another endo patient. It depends on their condition and status with the disease. There's the hormone treatment, and the hormone treatment is meant to suspend the period.
Sometimes as radical as a hysterectomy in some cases.
Yes, and some people are under the impression that when you do a hysterectomy, the hysterectomy is a definite cure, but that is not necessarily so, because I know a lot of endo patients. I was reading on a blog not too long ago of a young girl about 35 who had a hysterectomy, and she still has problem with endometriosis. A lot of pain, a lot of pain.
It also gives the victim or the sufferer challenges with fertility.
Yes, that's one of the issues regarding endometriosis. It affects different patients differently. There are some patients who have no problem with regard to fertility. But then there are other patients who have serious fertility issues. And you know, as a woman, it would be very concerning, right?
What since you formed the association in 2012, is there research being done on how pervasive it is in Trinidad?
Actually, what we have been doing since 2012 to now is that we have been putting structures and policies in place.
Are there international bodies that you're following?
Yes, actually we have initiated contact with Mary Lou, who is the president of the Endometriosis Association in Milwaukee. Of course, now is Endometriosis Awareness Month, March, so she's kind of busy. So we will chat after in April. I have to contact her again because I want her to bring some greetings for the seminar, you know, to talk to the women.
How many women have you been able to form a network with since the association?
I have spoken to quite a few. Not just women alone, because the association is not just focused on those afflicted, but those affected. Because support pole is very, very important.
I know that from Nikki because if she didn't have her husband and her colleagues' support, she would come to work and literally throw up. And fall on the ground and cannot get up and have to go back home.
That's not normal. That's not normal. And what we are asking is that if anybody knows of girls or women exhibiting such symptoms, to at least
what are the
take
symptoms
them,
specifically?
You're talking chronic pelvic pain and dysmenorrhea.
And this is not normal period pain. This is debilitating pain.
The first thing is that painful period is not normal at all. Painful period, is not normal at all. We're talking excruciating, debilitating pain. You can tell when this person is really, really in abnormal pain.
Excessive bleeding.
Dysmenorrhea. In some instances, you have women who don't experience the painful side of endometriosis. It's very rare, but the problem will come in when they start, try to get pregnant. And so they are unable to get pregnant. And when they go to, then they realize that, okay, endometriosis is the problem.
Are there specific doctors who specialize in diagnosing endometriosis? Because if you stayed 18 years before a proper diagnosis is made, and I know Nikki also had a similar experience until her late 20s until she was diagnosed, it is an issue.
Yes, the first thing we need to understand is that endometriosis is not a specialty at all, but it will fall within the bracket of gynecology. So any gynecologist, registered gynecologist, should be able to deal with it.
I'm sure you went to several gynecologists, obstetricians.
But you need it will always be beneficial to go to someone who have treated the disease, who have experience dealing with the disease, because you're talking surgery. Once you talk endometriosis, you're talking surgery, and you're talking incision. It means that you have to cut through a lot of tissues, scarring tissues and stuff like that.
And it grows back sometimes.
Yes.
So it grows, not a full
because remember, it replenishes itself every month. So it's, that's the problem right there.
So do you still experience extreme pain and have to manage pain?
I still have to manage my pain. It's not as bad as it was because I fell ill last year. I was hospitalized for 3 weeks, ICU for 9 days. And this is associated with your endometriosis? It is associated, but not as a direct result of. It is associated, intestinal rupture, that sort of thing. Yep.
So it's pretty much of a challenge.
Yes, it is very challenging. And one of the things people need to understand is that an endo patient, we don't have like a 4-week month. We have a 3-week month. We rule out that week completely. And how does that impact your studies, your career, your family life? Yes. It does. You need proper support. You need to have the what should I say, the correct people around you. That makes a big difference. Talking colleagues, I have had very supportive colleagues. My family, Paul, I cannot do without them, to be quite honest. With regard to studies, let me put it this way, I've been trying to finish my ME 5 years now. But it really has a significant impact. Yes, on it does, because during that time, I have had 2 surgeries. I am telling you, emergency surgeries. Emergency surgeries. So
you decided to use your experience to really
yes, to help, because I figured one of the things, when I was diagnosed in 2009, one of the problems I had is that nobody who I spoke with had the disease, number one, and they couldn't relate to my experiences. And initially I was angry, but then I thought about it and I said, people need to be informed.
Why be a victim?
Particularly young girls. You know, you have to try to get the disease at a very early stage so that treatment would be very effective.
So there are treatment?
Yes, there are treatment available.
All right, the public awareness seminar themed Getting the Word Out is going to be held on March 27th at the Amphitheater B, Eric Williams Medical Sciences Complex. Is there a website or a number they can call?
There's a Facebook page. You can also contact us at 333-3793 or 720-3560 or at the association email contact, which would be endo.tt@gmail.com.
endo.tt@gmail.com. I'm applauding you for your courage.
Thank you.
Because I know it is not an easy disease to be afflicted with.
That's
true.
It
is a daily challenge, and possibly for the rest of your life, as with many others. So once again, we'll get the word out. The numbers are once again 333-3793 and 720-3560.
That's correct.
For the Endometriosis Association of Trinidad and Tobago. That's Sasha. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Success.
Thank you.
We're going to wrap the show for today. On behalf of the entire team, thank you for viewing. Be safe. Our newscast is up next. Stay with us.